Hey everybody, and welcome to another Metroid 2 Remake. This is a fan-made Metroid game that's so good you'd think it's the real thing. It is a remake of Metroid 2 Return of Samus for the Game Boy, in the same way that Metroid Zero Mission was a remake of Metroid 1, although that was an official game. Metroid 2, although recently it's garnered a ton of attention, especially thanks to Nintendo's official remake that they made, Metroid 2 has been often overlooked, and that's because it's kind of weird and kind of different from the rest of the Metroid games. And in this playthrough, I'm going to go over exactly why, by playing this because I don't have a 3DS capture card, and I don't really know how to find emulators, so instead we're going with the only option. As you can see, however, development didn't entirely end at version 1.1 before Nintendo decided that this game shouldn't exist anymore and forced the original creator to take it down. Because once something's on the internet, it's there forever. So the community around AM2R, who were very happy to see it release, have actually continued to develop it beyond that point. And now there's all these new versions and all these new features added to the game. And so part of this playthrough is going to be showing that stuff up, because it's pretty cool. As you can see, the game clearly supports widescreen, and it didn't before. Anyway, that's enough intro. Let's begin playing some Metroid 2. And I'm gonna play the game on normal, because hard is too hard. Metroids. Numerous incidents in the past have brought to light the highly destructive power of these life forms, spreading fear across all known planetary systems. Hoping to secure peace in the galaxy, the Galactic Federation orders the extermination of the Metroid species. I was the best candidate for the job. Once again, I find myself standing alone against the Metroid menace. What horrors await me within the depths of their homeworld? Welcome to Planet SR388, the homeworld of the Metroid species, among other things. Over here in our mission log, we can see our mission briefing. Primary objective, exterminate all Metroid organisms on Planet SR388. We have to commit genocide, can't wait! Secondary objectives, locate and bring assistance to the Galactic Federation research and rescue teams. We are equipped with our power suit, 30 missiles, the morph ball, and the power grip. A little more equipped than we would be at the start of a Metroid game. We'll see what all these do as we go. For now, let's head right and begin this expedition. Metroid 2 is a lot more linear than other Metroid games, which usually have quite interconnected worlds that all do this, but that all loop around each other and require you to find later items to progress. I mean, if you see me play Hollow Knight, you know how Metroidvania goes. AM2R, or more accurately, Metroid 2, is not really like that. It's way more linear. We can crouch twice to enter morph ball mode. We can also shoot these blocks, and also shoot this slightly harmless wildlife with our laser gun. I mean, it's slightly harmless. They deal contact damage, but they are just kind of minding their own business. You can't feel bad for killing them, but whatever. They respawn as soon as you leave the screen. So as we head down, we can see in the upper left corner upper right corner, upper left is my health and missile count, that we have 47 Metroids to kill. Yeah, I know, they're raining terror across the galaxy, all 47 of them. We're gonna head right first, and here is a save platform. This will save your game, standing on this will save your game, as well as refill your missiles and health, just to make it easier on the developer to save the game, so the game doesn't have to save as much data. And we got these flying guys. To be honest, they don't really do anything. I don't know why I'm killing them, but wow, that is probably the quickest discovery of magma I have ever seen. Usually you have to go pretty deep to see magma in one of these games, but here it is, right here, just below the surface. That's very interesting. I guess this planet has some special properties. Why don't we read more about it? Down here in our mission log, we also have a bunch of other things that I'm not going to read all of at once, but we're going to start with Planet SR388. Planetary designation SR388, a remote planet absent on most galactic charts. Federation research indicates it is the natural homeworld of the Metroid species. Its outer crust is hollowed out with massive cave systems which are home to an ecosystem that is yet to be fully studied. The first expedition to SR388 revealed the existence of Chozo ruins. Well, that didn't really explain the magma, but I guess I couldn't have asked for much more. And even though it looks like that floor continues on past this wall, you can't go there. It's very strange, but whatever. You get used to it. So I guess right is not the option. Right is not the right way to go for once. There's no reason to save. I barely did anything. Jump back up, and go to the left this time. What could be awaiting me over here? Waiting us. We're in this together. It's not just me. Actually, it kind of is. I won't lie. So, killing these enemies do drop health and missiles in case you're not full on them. That's it. I don't really know how they resupply you with your health and missiles, just regular animals on this planet, but don't ask. Pixel art in this game is really cool, isn't it? I believe a lot of it is actually just ripped from the Metroid GBA games, but some of it was redone as a part of the updates to this game. These frogs jump around. I think they can also shoot something at you if you let them, so don't let them. Right, here's a red door. These require you to use missiles on them. You can equip your missiles and fire them. They deal more damage and also are the only way to attack certain foes. And right here is another save platform. I don't think it was entirely necessary, but sure. So, at some point here, we'll start seeing the effects of the power grip. That ledge hang, that is the power grip doing that. That was a power-up in Metroid Zero mission, which explained why Samus can climb ledges now when she couldn't before, in the earlier Metroid games. In addition, this is the Morph Ball, because I forgot to say that. Alright, let's see what's in here. Oh god, it's a big scary new life form. Well, fortunately, our scan log has our back. This is an Alpha Metroid. The Alpha Metroid has gained immunity to cold temperatures. The loss of several nuclei within its green membrane has left it vulnerable to concussive weaponry. A plated exoskeleton partially covers it. Not entirely though, good for us. This organism emerges from the molting of its larval form. Though aggressive, it is relatively weak at this stage, and its new appendages have yet to grow to their full length and strength. This is our first Metroid, and you have to equip your missiles and fire at their soft belly. And yeah, that's it. I mean, it does a decent amount of damage if it hits, but yeah, that's kind of all she wrote for the Alpha Metroid. Just kind of flies around. Anyone feel a little rumble? That's interesting. Earthquakes. The massive cave system is located between two tectonic plates largely flooded by an extremely dense and caustic substance similar to magma. Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to call it magma to appease those science nerds, but apparently no, that's not even magma. The recent earthquake has altered the cave layout and the hazardous substance has drained to lower levels. The cause of the earthquake is unknown. Initial orbital scan of SR388 detected no instability within this region. Well, if the magma went down over here, maybe it's down over on the other side? Let's go check it out. No need to save. I killed a very easy enemy. Once you open up a missile door once, they will transform into a blue door, which is opened by just a regular shot. I don't know why you have to shoot the doors to open them, but that's a thing in Metroid games. Just don't bother asking. Trying to aim down and kill this guy. You can aim your cannon either directly up or diagonally up or down. The only way to aim straight down is if you're in midair, such as like so. I tried to aim ahead of him, lead my shots a little bit, didn't really work. Now I have to climb out of this pit. Go back down here. Isn't this music great? It's a remix of Surface to SR388 from the original game, which is one of the best 8-bit themes I've ever heard, by the way, or I guess technically 4-bit. And by the way, secret passageway underneath this. Yeah, it's seriously one of the best, like, 4-bit or Game Boy tunes I've ever heard. And it was recreated very well here. Although with a little bit of a different vibe. But that's okay. I've actually grown to like it a little more than what Samus Returns does, although I really do like Samus Returns' version of it. Alright, yep, the magma has drained. We can now proceed further, and now we have these weird things. They're like amalgamation of fish, and they have tentacles growing out as hair? Yeah, I'm not really sure. These little guys dropping on top of you can be killed. Their home, or whatever that is, can be killed. Yeah, I don't really know what's up with the wildlife. Let's read more about them. Let's see if our scan log has anything about them. Native species. Not much is known about SR388's ecosystem. Great. Very helpful, thanks. Prior reports describe the fauna as being very hostile. Nearly all observed animals have been carnivores, with even the smallest species showing dangerous traits. I'm going to be probably converting between species and species as we do this. I'm very sorry about that. The harsh environment and the presence of so many predators may have forced an evolutionary arms race, perpetuating a cycle of violence. Extreme caution is advised. Only one of them, and that is the jumpy frog things, have seemed to be any sort of threat whatsoever. The others only harm you if you touch them, which is a perfectly reasonable thing. Haven't any of you listened to Sonic when it says touching you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable is no good? Yeah, of course you'd want to be able to just hurt anyone who does so. Alright, well, here's more magma. We can't go down in there. If we do, our health gets lowered. You may have seen it briefly before when I accidentally fell in, so let's not do that. Pick up that health. Scanning environment. Energy pattern scan. 4 Metroids detected in the area. If you want to see how many Metroids are in your current area, you can open up the map, and the number is displayed right next to, on the far right next to the total. We got 1 Metroid down and 46 to go. If they're all gonna be that easy, then this is gonna be the easiest game of my life. But I think we all know it can never be that easy. Don't these things kind of resemble Samus's ship from Super Metroid? Like the red especially? I believe their old sprites resembled her ship a lot more. They had their sprites redone and now they look a little more like bugs, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. Obviously, her ship in this game is a lot more yellow, but... Suspicious room. Especially when there's moving purple spike balls traveling the walls and the floors and the ceilings. Let's take the lower path first. Another save platform. It's a decent distance away from the other one. Sure, okay, sure. Well, this place doesn't look very friendly. Honestly, I'm glad for this blockade. Let's go back. That we need a thing for. Missiles will not work on it. So instead, let's go back up. Oh, I miss Hollow Knight, where not every enemy respawned when you leave the room. By saying I miss Hollow Knight as if I haven't almost poured 100 hours into it after I've done. I freaking love that game. And right here is a little bit of a difficulty spike. I mean, this is one of the first rooms in the game and we're being freaking swarmed by fast enemies. This game doesn't get off to the easiest start of all time. I'm pretty sure AM2R is expecting you to have played a Metroid game before, which is kind of weird. But it's okay. And at least they despawn when you leave a room. Welcome to the Golden Temple. Where is it? Somewhere in front of us. We'll get to it soon. This temple stands at the base of a hollow mountain. The statues, carved stones, and its solid design attest that the structure was built to be a sanctuary, possibly with religious significance. The temple has withstood the test of time, showing the building knowledge and experience of the Chozo. Scans detect the presence of stationary robotic entities placed at strategic points inside the structure. No control signals are detected. These units are operating autonomously. That's a lot of information that my weird fancy little scanner just gave me. But, you know, weird fancy little thing can describe Samus's power suit in many ways. Let's read a little bit more about that lost race, the Chozo. The Chozo were an ancient and mysterious avian race. Incredibly advanced, they colonized many worlds, spreading their message of peace throughout the universe. There are historical records and legends of the Chozo visiting other races with whom they shared their knowledge and wisdom. These brief encounters led many primitive cultures to their present-day glory. Some say they helped consolidate the very foundations of the Galactic Federation. The fate of this race is unknown. Evidence suggests they slowly vanish from the cosmos over the course of centuries. All that remains on each planet they inhabited are the ruins of their once glorious civilization. Get used to the Chozo, because they're present in basically every Metroid game. That'll be enough logbook reading for now. For now, I just want this stupid full thing dead. These ones can kind of go out of their way to attack you a little bit. Not much more than that, though. And with no way to climb this, we have no choice but to fire at this door to force our way inside. And we are greeted with another save platform. Think this is a little too many, guys? I mean, it would make sense if this were a handheld game, but this is a PC game. I don't really understand that. Anyway, this is our first Chozo Ruin, and this is usually where you get your power-ups. And this first one looks a lot like how they looked in the original Metroid 2. I believe all these slightly more golden ones can be shot to death. Except for these ones with special symbols at the bottom here. They give the same symbol as the blockade down in wherever that was, the freaking nest. And unfortunately, we're kind of stuck down here. But if you played any Metroidvania, you know what that means. It means going through a field of a bunch of bird turrets that fired beautifully in sync at first, and then stopped. I wonder why that is. I guess there's a slight randomization on their firing. You can kill them much faster by using missiles. And you have 30 of them, so you might as well. And they also drop some more to refill you, so you might as well. Here is another missile door, and missile doors from now on almost always lead to an item resting on a Chozo statue. Little revisit history, but Samus was raised by the Chozo, and her power suit is Chozo technology, so it makes sense that all the upgrades for it come from the Chozo as well. Our first upgrade is bombs! Press the fire button in the Morph Ball mode to deploy. This is basically your main attack in Morph Ball mode. It's not very effective. It's mainly just used to open up those blocks that had that icon. And down here is a missile tank. Missile capacity increased by 5. These are scattered all over the game and will increase your total missile capacity by 5. We can now hold up to 35 missiles instead of just 30. Now let's use that increased missile capacity to burn through this entire room again. Okay, apparently he shot before I even noticed. Hit you, and get you too. Missile tanks are scattered all over the game. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's like 44 of them, and all of them increase your missile capacity by 5. You want to pick them up. Many enemies in this game are impervious to your laser and only take missiles. By the many enemies, I mean the Metroids. So you want to get the missiles. Want to get as many as you can to make sure you don't run out. And now we can use our bombs on this cracked graham cracker looking block and go through this secret tunnel. Bomb these two. That's weird. A little silver block this time, and it's impervious to both regular shots and missiles. Guess we'll come back to that. Here we got a few more turrets and just laid through the exact same kind of vertical room as before. Where do I want to start in here? I definitely don't want to start by getting knocked around by the turrets. Touching the turrets will also damage you. It's just regular contact damage. You played any 2D game before, you probably expected this. Anyway, let's spawn these blocks, and behind it, it's a secret white door that is also immune to both lasers and missiles. Interesting. Take out those two. Take out you as well. We can go to the top first, maybe? Trying to remember which room I'd like to start with. I think I want to start with this one. Oh, hold on. I need to climb my way back up there. Did not do that platforming very well. Yes. Got a turret right here. Doesn't matter, but did you notice the fireball didn't really make a poof animation on this? Because this is fake. There's a secret missile tank behind it. In fact, this room is full of missile tanks. Check this out. You need to be reminded of how to use bombs, and you get another missile tank. Oh, did you know that you can also shoot blocks? Because we didn't teach you before anything, here's another missile tank. The game will give you some easy missile tanks like that, but it's important. They're important. And, there's a tunnel there, but it's impervious to both bombs and lasers. But our laser just went right through it because it's not actually there. And we have a little bomb puzzle here. An easy bomb puzzle. I have to wait for the block to come back, and then do that. Then we do the same thing as we go. We can try to do that. Yep. Get another free missile tank. That's an example of a crumbling block. When you stand on those, they crumble. You cannot destroy them in any way, however. That seems interesting. I'll have to remember that for later. Let's kill you, and I think that's it. Just some missile tanks to get in this room, but they count towards 100%, so you should come get them. They're honestly really easy to get, so might as well. Next, I'm going to head down here to the bottom. And it's another identical room to the one that gave us bombs. I wonder if we're going to get another item at the end of it. You can completely skip past these guys by just going up there. It's kind of funny. Yep, another missile door, and yep, another item, and this time it's the charge beam. Hold fire key to charge your beam. The charge beam acts as a missile shot. In case you have run out of missiles for whatever reason, any enemy that is impervious to missiles will be hurt by the charge beam still. I think. You might not want to quote me on that, because to be honest, I haven't tried it on the Metroids. I do know that there are big enemies in this game that seem like they're impervious to beams, but they actually aren't. We'll actually be seeing one of them fairly shortly. Not too shortly, though. Well, I mean, next time we see a Metroid, I could test that theory and get a confirmed answer. And if it's no, then that might be a problem. Good thing is, unlike most other bosses in this game, you can back out of a Metroid fight whenever you want. Let's go out here this time, and we found the back door. Pretty small temple. I wonder what they even did in there. Why are there turrets in there? I guess we're an intruder, so we must be shot to death. That's probably their reasoning for setting those up to kill us. That looks familiar. I think we just saw the first Metroid literally pop out of one of these. We also saw a similar thing, but down by the nest. Here's another save point. I guess we need this. Jump our way through there, and I've got a question. What are these guys? They were not in the original versions of AM2R, and I have absolutely no idea what purpose they serve. They were clearly added in the updates, but what do? I think you can, like, stand on them and they fall down. They don't really do much more than that, though. I don't think they're ever needed for anything. It's just, they're just there, chilling. Down here is the Spider Ball. Press the aim key in Morph Ball mode to climb walls. Pretty nifty ability. We can use that to basically climb any wall as long as there are no hazards in our way, and that includes natural walls, such as this, so we can climb on this guy. And I can show you that, like, he reacts to you and falls into the ground, and then just becomes a little rock, but then you step off and he flies back up. What do they do? I don't really know. I know they're supposed to be, like, scavengers of sorts, and they appear more frequently as you start killing Metroids in an area, but I don't know, they're just kind of weird. Anyway, let's use the Spider Ball to climb this wall. Because wherever there's a husk of a Metroid, a shell of a Metroid, a larval Metroid, their bigger self? I was gonna say bigger brother, but that makes no sense. Is usually nearby. Their next stage of life is usually nearby, and that is definitely true for this Alpha Metroid chilling in the cave. And aside from the other spikes in the arena, he's mostly the same as the first, and went down just as easily. Let's read a little bit more about these Metroids. The Metroid species. The dominant species of SR388. Metroids hunt for any form of energy found in natural or synthetic organisms, leaving behind deceased husks after feeding. They are highly resistant to conventional weapons and possess great adaptability in foreign environments. Estimates suggest a small number of Metroids set loose on a populated planet would lead to the extinction of any present life forms. As such, they've drawn much attention from space pirates, who have repeatedly tried to use them as biological weapons. In case you're wondering, like, what did I miss because this is Metroid 2 and not Metroid 1, Metroid 1's plot is you're trying to stop the space pirates from using Metroids for bad things. At the end of that game, you fought that form of the Metroid, the jellyfish form. But a little more about their life cycle. Scans on the native Metroids revealed their most common form on prior incidents is merely the species' larval stage. While there are records of extreme mutations triggered by space pirates using abnormal stimuli, the Metroid homeworld of SR388 is seemingly the only environment where the species can naturally transform. Pretty sure the records of extreme mutations is a reference to Metroid Prime. Do note, this is kind of important, none of this lore should be considered official or canon, because this is a fan-made game, so this is unofficial by default. None of this stuff should be considered canon. It's just here for fun, and, you know, cool lore as you play, but it's all lore that is unique to this remake alone, and is not at all, what Metroid 2 was really supposed to be, because you can tell, because Samus Returns is actually completely different to this game. Both this and Samus Returns are reimagining this game in two completely different ways. It sounds like kind of cool. There's another very easy to get missile tank. But up there, that looks a little more important. For now though, let's bomb this suspiciously more golden thing and get another easy missile tank. We now have 65 missiles just like that. And got some lights we can shoot to turn on, and that causes something. Apply power to a silver thing and it moves out of the way. Is, I think, a rule that's established throughout the whole game, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if that holds up. With that out of our way, we can now access the secret, mysterious E object. It's an energy tank. Suit energy increased by 100 units. We now have a dot up next to our health bar there, our health counter. That indicates the extra 100 units. Once this set of 99 health runs out, it will wrap back around to 99, and that dot will go blink, indicating that the energy tank has been used up. There are loads of energy tanks, and you want to get them because things in this game start doing more and more damage as you continue. Where else haven't I been? Oh, right. You see, I purposely let us past a secret that we could have gotten from the start, because in here is another similar looking silver block, and I thought that room introduces them a lot better, because in here is a set of 2 cracked blocks that leads to another one of these, and it reveals another energy tank. Kinda odd that you get 2 right away, but it's alright. There we go, we now have Psy 299 health. Why the hell doesn't it go up to 100? I don't know, don't ask me, I didn't make the Metroid games. There was another door up in this room though, so let's go back up there. Missile U2. And, hold on. Oh, by the way, there's actually a dedicated morph ball button in this game. I keep crouching twice just on instinct, but in case you've ever found that annoying, you'll be pleased to know that this game has a dedicated morph ball button. It's, I think it's bound to control by default. It's either that or I set it up that way. I may have rebound the controls a little bit, so it's entirely possible I set it up that way. Up here is the statue that we saw in our logbook, and up there are once thought to be unreachable goodies, and then I remembered you can use the charge beam to suck in any collectibles. Any little collectible items, so be sure to do that. Using the spider hole, we can scale to the roof of the temple and see that there is absolutely nothing up here. Great. But you know what else we can use the spider ball for? You guessed it, climb up to the ceiling of this huge cavern. We're gonna be here a little while. I'll speed this up. Except sometimes you might have to make a tricky jump like this. Jump, morph ball, spider ball. There we go. It's best to use the quick morph button for those. You got some enemies that they placed up here to try and knock you back down, because if you get hit in spider ball form, you are knocked off the wall and you return back to regular form. You are also knocked off the wall by your own bombs, so be careful where you place bombs. Think we're gonna get past you? Yep. We might not get past you. Go. The controls on this thing can be a little weird, like which arrow moves in which direction. Kind of strange. Anyway, we climbed up here for one express purpose, and that's this missile tank. Just one missile tank, but hey, it's worth it. To me, anyway. And I think that about does it. If we take a look at the map, we can see those dots in those rooms. That indicates a secret item, or something. You may have noticed that those started off as circles, and then once we collected the items, they compressed into those squares. That's how you know that there's a secret there, and how you know that you've gotten the secret. Most secrets in this game are signified by that, so be sure to watch the map as you go through a new area. It's very helpful, and you'll get most of the items if you hunt them that way. Some items are hidden off the map, but climbing up this wall, because I don't exactly remember what's up here. I don't think anything is. I think it just ultimately takes you back to the same missile tank. Yeah, even if anything is here, we can always come back here later. Backtracking is a thing in Metroidvanias, so be prepared for that. Although, can you really call this a Metroidvania if it's this linear? Yeah, you can. It's a freaking Metroid game. It's kind of weird that it's in the second Metroid game that decided to make something completely different from the first. Take a completely different design approach. We're all done with things out in the temple. Now that we have bombs, let's check out what's down here. Okay, but this platform. Continue. Hello, little guy. Arm our way in. And this place seems a little dangerous, which is why I put it off until now, but we're a little more well-equipped. We have more missiles, we have more ball bombs. I think we'll be fine, and what's the worst that could be down here? Another Alpha Metroid? Breeding grounds. This area spans a custom-built ecosystem that favors the growth of Metroids. The terrain itself is dangerous. Tendrils growing along the ground release extremely corrosive chemicals. Opportunistic predators and scavengers can recognize this as an ideal feeding ground, taking advantage of injured or dead animals. The presence of at least one Metroid is expected when venturing in these habitats. The tendrils are determined to be of artificial origin. Synthesized through technologically advanced methods, they absorb nutrients from dead matter. That is to say, if you stand on them, they drain your health, so don't do that. They also slow you down. Breeding grounds are attached to the first 3 main areas of the game, and they follow very simple rules. You go into a room, and you find, eventually, a Metroid. This one doesn't see us. We can get a sneak attack in. Yes, I love that. This one begs us to fight on some platforms, where if we don't stand on them, we fall into the pit below, but it really wasn't any harder than the previous 2 have been. Part of that's because I'm playing on normal mode. We'll talk more about that much later, after the game is done, to be perfectly honest. As you kill Metroids in this, those guys appear a little more, so I think they're supposed to be like scavengers of sorts, feeding off the dead Metroids, because they're floating around the Metroid shells. I'm not really sure. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of just, there's this main hub area, and it branches off into multiple rooms that have a Metroid, and that's it. Because if we check our map here, in front of this oblivious Metroid, we can see we have 2 left, and there's 2 passageways to go. Man, what do you think is at the end of those passageways? I couldn't possibly guess. You're no different. Okay. You're no different, but you are getting a little more hits on me than your brethren. Generally, the best thing to do is to jump to lead them upwards, which will open their belly for an easy missile. And with all the resources they drop, we should have enough. Actually, I know for a fact we have more than enough to head right in here and take out the last Metroid. That guy's got bigger legs. Ow. Missile bit plinked off of his clearly metal shell or something. I just love how their shell is so strong that your missiles just bounce off with a little bink. Alright, are you capable of anything interesting? Ah, yes, this is the first Metroid capable of dodging. I hate this. When you shoot a missile at them, they have a random chance to just ignore the attack and pretend you never did anything at all. And call it dodging. They dash a little out of the way, but they also have immunity. Even if the missile would have hit, they still avoid it. It's fine. It just makes their fights a little more tedious, but yeah. That's it. That's every Metroid in the area. And that's another earthquake. Strange. And there's even more of those scavengers. Yep. You guys go ahead and feast on that. I'm done here. My work here is done. They're all yours. All their corpses are yours. We head back out into the entrance. Let's go and see if my theory is correct, and the earthquake has caused the magma to lower. Just outside. Ow. Dropped a huge health thing for me losing, like... What was that? 6 health? I don't know. I'm sorry for taking your stolen artifacts. I'll promise to return them by the end of the week. This is the Ancient Guardian, our first boss. This sentry deploys spiked barriers and corners targets into its firing range. Due to archaic design constraints, it only operates at low power, preventing the simultaneous use of its shield and mobility systems. Its arsenal consists of energy weapons with unique patterns. The robot was calibrated to detect foreign creatures bearing stolen equipment. Recent earthquakes seem to have damaged the traction of the unit and spiked barriers. Despite these complications, remains a considerable threat. The bosses in this game are generally a lot more interesting than the Metroid fights. This guy has multiple attacks. You can hit him while he's moving, but you cannot... Whoop, God. You cannot hit him while he's firing an attack. He has 4 different attacks that are signified with a different color. Orange attack is a shockwave along the ground, so you want to jump for that. Orange attack is a shockwave along the ground, you want to jump for that. Blue attack, fire straight down, just get to the side. Purple attack, yeah, you want to morph ball. Orange attack is a shockwave along the ground, you want to jump. Green attack, stay underneath it. And that's it. Want to fire in between its attacks. As you attack it, it will... Oh god, I forgot what orange did. It will close in the spikes, giving you a tighter and tighter arena. Well, I believe it'll stop doing certain attacks. I believe. I'm not entirely sure. Still, you do have just enough room to avoid the blue attack. Alright, stay underneath. Morph ball. Morph ball. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. That's it. Pretty simple boss. Also had a pretty big design change from early versions of AM2R. Also, these bosses drop even more loot than even the Metroids do. And now the passageway in the ceiling is open. Is it possible? Can I... Okay, I know I could probably bomb jump, but I don't really want to do that. Yes, I can cling on with the spider ball, and if we go up here, we can see that there is more up here. Takes bombs, but so does that, and we don't exactly have any way of doing that, I don't think. Do we? Could we actually get up here? Hang on, am I doing a sequence break right now? I don't think... We're not supposed to come here until later. Let's just remember that it's there and leave for now. It's possible you might be able to get up there, though. I'm not sure. There was an ominous-looking yellow door, though, that seemed to tell me that it was gone. That it was a dead end. And yeah, the magma has lowered. And this allows us down to somewhere new. This is basically how Metroid 2 is set up. You go into an area, kill all the Metroids there, and then an earthquake starts, which will lower the magma to allow you to proceed down into the down through the main cave, which will then take you into the next area where you kill the Metroids there, so on and so forth. You collect your items as you go, but yeah, it's not very interconnected, unlike the first and third Metroid games, the predecessor and the successor. Not the successor, but the successor. You know, the word. Over here is a not very well hidden secret that leads to an impossible room. Except that we can sort of wall jump. It doesn't really get us anywhere though. However, notice the map. We have a circle. There is a circle down here on this bottom half of the room. Right behind this bombable wall is a missile tank. Pretty easy to miss, I would assume. However, we cannot climb up there for now, so let's just keep going. And, you notice the map is actually color-coded. The dark blue is the main cave that will take us to the next area. The lighter blue is the outer area, as well as the breeding grounds of whatever area you're in, and the green rooms are within the temple, or ruins, the Chozo ruins of that area. The game uses that color scheme throughout the whole thing, so be sure to memorize it. Okay, all of All of that went flying over your head. Perfect. And we run to another roadblock. Energy pattern scan, 7 Metroids detected in the area. We got a lot more work to do here. So let's crawl under here. Sorry, roll under there at the speed of sound. Welcome to yet another dark, spooky, empty hallway. Wonder what kind of ruin we're gonna find down here. Surprise! Alpha Metroid! That was not present in the original game, and I love its addition here. At least I don't think it was. The original game didn't have as many Metroids. I think I had like 30-something? Anyway, it was honestly the easiest Alpha Metroid we have faced so far. The first one I had to read about to make sure I knew how to fight it. Yep, but here we have our second area. Hydro Station. The massive facility at the center of this reservoir filters and pumps waters through enormous pipelines. These pipes come out of the complex and disappear into the surrounding rocks, presumably to supply other buildings further down the cave system with clean water. Though abandoned, most of it remains functional. Robotic activity is detected inside. This is something new to AM2R, and I think Samus Returns does something similar. Not every Chozo temple is a temple, only the first one is. Every other one has a different purpose. It's more like a Chozo facility than a temple, so that's what I'm going to call them from now on. First one was a temple, this one is a hydro plant. I like that. Because, you know, all of them being temples and having the same aesthetic and same music could get pretty tiring in the original, especially when there's 5 of the freaking things. Actually, no, there were only 4 temples, but I'm thinking of 5 areas because of this game. You'll see. These special plants can only be harmed with missiles. I don't know why you'd want to harm such a beautiful-looking plant as that, but yeah, they can only be harmed with missiles. Let's just take the front entrance. We don't need to go up there. And in here is yet another... Oh. Someone's broken the save platform. I guess someone else had the same opinions as me. Going through here, you can see the completely different aesthetic. It's all green, there's pipes everywhere, and yep, this is a hydro plant, not a temple. In the original Metroid 2, it was literally just another temple. It also has these fun guys in it that pop their head out so they can shoot you with a thing. You want to use your missiles on them, get behind them. That's it. No need for any further commentary. Listen. It's a remix of Overgrown Brinstar, the much less popular of the 2 Brinstar themes from Super Metroid, and my god is it just an amazing one. I love this theme so much. Thankfully, we're going to be hearing it for a while longer because this area is quite a bit longer than the first, because it's a little more complicated to figure out how to move. Now we can shoot those little fans, turbines, yeah, turbines, but if you look at the map, you can see that there is a circle up here, which means secret item. And by paying attention to the tiles, you can see this one is cracked. It takes a bomb. And it conceals a secret pathway to a missile tank. There's gonna be a lot of stuff like that as we go. Might as well introduce water. It slows you down, that's all it does. No need to worry about drowning. You're in a suit that probably supplies oxygen. Probably, hopefully. Unfortunately, the music's gonna be interrupted by an Alpha Metroid. Who I could have gotten the jump on, but yeah. You have to fight him in this slow water, but otherwise, it can dodge. And otherwise, it's the same as any other Alpha Metroid. They really don't do a lot of damage. To be honest, do not worry about taking damage. Samus is a very, very tanky character. You can get her so much health that you can just tank right through basically everything. Avoiding damage is not a big part of this game at all. So I'm pretty sure you saw that missile tank up there. And you can see up there are those faint blocks that seem to be outlining a pathway that ends over at this wall to the left. What the hell was that? How did I bounce off the wall? I guess I held a direction a little too much. No, I don't want to go into the pipe. Nor do I want that. I want to... Okay, good enough. This takes a bomb. Or it doesn't. Alright, I'll take it. Yet another missile tank. Got a little opening on the top of this thing. Perfect to fit a morph ball, wouldn't you say? Up we go. This takes us out here. Now... let's see. Oh yeah, this does take us somewhere. I have to remember some of this stuff. It can be hard to keep some of these rooms in mind, especially with a planet as big as expansive as this. In here is no item. Yay! Although, if you look at the map, you could see that the room continues beyond that point. You just bomb that, and oh, you actually can go down here. I forgot. But that's a crumbling block, and you can't destroy those, so we'll have to take it from a different angle, such as right here. Secret tunnel. It's a pile of balls. Pile of bombable balls at that. So what on earth is the deal with this? Well, I don't know, but all I do know is that you bomb enough of them, and eventually, this one at the bottom transforms into a helix symbol thing. Assuming I'm using that word right. It's the Varia suit. Reduces damage taken by 50%. We're orange now. And we got green accents. I guess you could say that Samus's appearance is variable. The Varia suit is usually used to allow you to go through hot rooms. But there are no hot rooms in this game. There are hot rooms in Samus Returns, but there are no hot rooms in this game. So all it does is actually increase your defense. That's it. It's technically optional. You don't have to get it at all. But I always want to pick it up because reducing damage by 50% does help quite a bit. That's a huge freaking increase of defense, so I'll definitely take that. I haven't actually tried fighting many of the later bosses with the power suit. I'm kind of interested in trying just to see how much harder they would be. That's about all we can access there for now, anyway. Let's take a look somewhere else, such as up. I was starting to climb up this wall, and then I decided to go down first, because I thought that was the better choice. And these poor guys, they've lost their water. But hey, I get to move more freely here, so ultimately, it's a win. I don't really get what's with those those creatures that just move in a diamond shape and that's all they do. I know, very ferocious wildlife, am I right? Cycle of violence happening on this planet. These are bloodthirsty animals that just chill and don't really do a lot. In this room is another Metroid! I like how these guys could just surprise you from time to time, because you expect to find them at certain points, but then suddenly they just pop out of the woodwork. I was hoping to say that a lot more elegantly than I did. That Metroid has the ability to charge at me. I honestly have a lot of trouble avoiding it. Just if you see it back up and start to rear its head, or is that rearing its head? Just try to jump out of the way. Maybe time it a little better than I did there, and you should be good. Otherwise, I hope it doesn't dodge too many times, and you should be good. We are now down below 40, and how many in this area? 4 left. Got a pretty obvious bomb right there. And, oh, I see. I approached this from the wrong angle. That's fine. Let's head back out. We want to spider ball up this. Careful that that guy doesn't knock you off the wall. And now up here we can see there are more platforms over there. However, we can't quite reach them with our jump. We need to find some other way up there. There we go. Just gonna kill those. They're in my way. We'll check out what's in that little Mario Brothers warp pipe in a bit. For now, we're gonna climb down the side that we started on. And in here is a pretty obvious morph ball tunnel that leads to the missile tank that we just saw. That's the main reason why I did that. Actually, if you look at the map, we can see it just goes back down to where we were before. Is there actually a doorway down here? I can't quite remember. Nope. Alright, well, time to climb back up. You can use these little outcroppings, whatever you want to call them, to shoot those guys. You know, I should be doing that. Let's do that. Let's do what I just said. Let me use my own tip. Alright, what is down here? A save platform. That's interesting. They usually don't just give it to you smack dab in the middle of the facility like this. And here we have a confusing mess of pipes that must be bombed through, and surprisingly, doing this doesn't cause any leaks. I'm not quite sure how that works, but whatever. Nothing's actually leaking from these pipes, so I'm assuming the station isn't actually used anymore. Because nothing's going through these pipes. In here... is our second boss, Arachnus. With a name like that, you'd expect it to be a spider, but no. A territorial organism. Its armored hide is very resilient and requires at least a high voltage discharge to harm it. Attacking with anything less will only agitate the creature. When enraged, it will roll into a ball and attempt to ram its aggressor. Bombs might be able to propel it in this state. Its saliva has flammable properties, and its claws can vibrate at high frequencies to launch sonic waves. Scans detected has required a Chozo relic, granting it unnatural vigor. Requires at least a high voltage. Well, good thing there's a bunch of shocking things in the room with us. Very convenient. That even popped out right as he appeared. Almost as if they're correlated. Why do you have this in your arena, buddy? Do you want to die? Here, let me agitate you so I can use bombs to propel you up into them. Don't worry, this isn't some extreme physics puzzle. It's completely scripted how high he goes with the bombs. You just have to hit him with a certain amount of bombs. Once you do that, he automatically jumps into the thing. His attacks get a little more intense on the second phases, though, and honestly, his attacks can be kind of hard, so don't worry about being bad at this fight. Except that I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. There he goes. That's 3 bombs to get him in the second phase. First phase was 2. And this attack, my god, this one's hard. Flame just keeps bouncing around, and both the flame and the pillars it creates hurt you. It's tough. I don't really know the best way to avoid it, so I just don't. Again, Samus is very tanky. She can take it. Unless you're playing hard mode, or fusion mode. We'll get to those later, though. And unless you're playing Samus Returns. 3 is a magic number for Nintendo bosses. Almost every Nintendo boss ever dies in 3 hits, and that boss is no exception. Your reward is the Spring Ball. Press Z in Morph Ball mode. Press jump in Morph Ball mode. Pretty ominous. But you can jump in the Morph Ball mode now. That's all it means. Pretty weird that that's a separate power-up, and it's even weirder how Super Metroid withholds it from you for the longest time. Don't really understand that. Might as well save since we're right here. And those of you with keen eyes may have noticed that I completely skipped over a secret tunnel that leads to the rest of this facility, or actually, it leads to at least one secret, so I'm going to head back there and see it for myself. It's not there. Down this way. I believe it's inside. No, actually... Okay, where is it? Okay, I do have to go back down. Whoops. This place can be confusing to navigate. I believe, like, even though the world itself might not be that interconnected, the individual areas do give you that sort of mazy Metroidvania vibe, and so I think this game still has plenty of Metroid elements, since, you know, there are areas within the area that you can't reach without an ability that you acquire in the same area. That's interesting. What, do I have to blow a fan on those blocks to get rid of them? take this pipe back up. And there's a cracked block in the ceiling right there, so let's go blow it up. Okay, this does take us to an optional thing. I thought it was taking us to a required path. Well, I seem to be unable to remember where the required path is at the moment. This is pretty interesting. It's kind of like a timing challenge. You have to time a bomb right here. You can also just spam bombs and it'll do the trick. And then you want to go back through quick before the blocks reappear, and you get yourself a missile tank. Pretty simple. And that's all that's over here, so let's just get out of here. There's many missile tanks that you can see, but won't be completely sure how to access, and you'll have to search all the rooms around them to find out where they are. So, prepare to do some hunting and prepare to scan the environment pretty well. I believe this is mostly a dead end, if not for this, so we'll have to go back down. Which, thankfully, is an option. Now, here's where I kind of forget where to go to progress. So, let's see. There is a lot more to this place. We haven't seen the half of it, to be honest. I see. I thought this was a pipe I had already gone up. It was not. We go down this pipe, you could have gotten a view of that missile tank that we just got. You enter a new room. Alright, oh god, this guy's tough. He jumps at you, deals not that much damage, but is very, very tanky, and there are more than one of them. These guys can be quite annoying to fight. I'm going to bomb this guy free, and we're going to spam missiles on him. We have so many missiles, we might as well. Do not be afraid to use missiles, because you get so many of them. And in here is a bunch of pipes that we can destroy. Like usual, I fell all the way down. Let me see, what's up here? Something. I'm not completely sure. Oh, now I'm completely sure. Got more of these turrets, and these ones shoot faster fireballs. And here is, you guessed it, an item, thanks to the missile door. It is high jump boots. Maximum jump height increased, and this is where the controls get really, really fun. Going back to your really short jump at the beginning of the game feels so weird to me, because I get so used to the high jump boots, because look at this! We can jump so much higher now, and that's exactly what we need to get to those seemingly unreachable bridges outside, I guess you could call them, dilapidated bridges. You want to use it to jump up this room, killing those guys as you go. Oh god. Now, what's down here? You. These guys are so annoying and really hard to hit. You kind of have to take each one on individually. I'm using missiles because I don't care. Oh god. Please die. Yeah, thank you. Thankfully, these guys are actually facing the other way, so I can just do that, even though missiles don't kill them in one hit. We have a missile tank up there. Hold on. Oh god, I didn't time that very well. There we go. We have two missile tanks in here. One of them, I believe, is just a bomb. And it's right there. Yep. So, spider ball. Nope. Spider ball. There we go. And get it. This other one, though, is a little trickier. Because if we try to bomb our way through, no dice. None of these are bombs, and we can't really check this out. Seems to be no way to get there. But look very carefully underneath the floor. There's a tunnel. And it leads here. Almost all secrets have that kind of visual indicator, so you're not left completely in the dark on how to get to something. Which is something I feel like the original Metroid games did a lot, especially Metroid 1. And I think Super Metroid did it in places where maybe there were minor visual cues, but I don't know, they weren't all that clear. But this game, though, has a lot of subtle stuff like that you feel pretty smart for figuring out on your own. I found out how to get a lot of the secrets on my own. I didn't find out how to get every single one of them. There were like a few I forgot. I didn't know where they were, and I had to go look that up, but apart from that, nothing much else. Apart from that, I was able to find out everything mostly on my own. We got two mechanical dudes in here. Good thing is, I have so much health. I'm honestly wondering if I should have played easy mode, or, sorry, not easy mode, normal mode. But I did try to play hard mode, and I got stuck. I reached a boss that felt nearly impossible. Hard mode is a huge difficulty jump from normal, so you can see that there's another side of this room, but seem to be unable to access it from this side, so let's head back. There are certain other unexplored routes. Oh yeah, I completely didn't go through the item room with the high jump boots. It's a general rule of thumb that if you get a, especially early on, you should always bomb the tiles on the floor in every single item room, because they almost always go somewhere. This early on they do. As you go, they start doing that less and less, because it's too predictable. I'm just tanking through. I don't care. Alright. Spotted. And here we have an enemy to use our most powerful weapon, bombs, on. They do at least seem to do a fair bit of damage, but they can be really hard to hit an enemy with. Here is our third energy tank already, and we have over 100 missiles, which I completely forgot to point out. And here is our last item, missile tank right here. We are loading up on all sorts of equipment. And we're just in the second area. Granted, there aren't that many areas past this point. Metroid games tend to be really short, especially when you know where to go. They can last you about like 2 to 3 hours when you know where to go. Metroid Prime might be the exception. I haven't finished Metroid Prime. I'll tell you what Metroid games I've played to completion. Super Metroid, and this. Yeah, I'm serious. I have not really played anything else besides that. I have played a little bit of Metroid Prime, but I eventually kind of lost interest and gave up due to how backtrack heavy that game is. It wasn't really my favorite thing. And I don't really know if I'm ever going to return to it. But hey, this game is fun, and unlike any other Metroid game, this one I can actually play. I don't know, I'm just kind of scared of downloading emulators, because I know it's a perfectly viable thing to do, viable way to play games, especially if Nintendo's not gonna friggin' support it that much, but support game preservation that much, but still. There's a subtle cracked wall like right there. You can use that to bomb your way into these turbines that don't chop you up into bits. Instead, they just spin you back and forth, and it's another little timing puzzle. Pretty interesting. If you accidentally bomb the exit, you'll just exit back out on the other side, so you just try it again. Not that hard. And right here, another item. The wave beam. Beams can now go through solid objects. This is an amazing upgrade. Although it's no longer really possible to tell the difference between a real block and a fake block. That whatever. Look at this. I could kill that turret from the other side of the wall. Those friggin' horse turrets, I like to call them, because they look kind of like horses, don't stand a chance now. And honestly, neither do you, because you're no longer obstructed by blocks. You are still powerful. But I can shoot you right through them. It feels great. This is something Metroid games do, and also other Metroidvanias do really well. They make something feel annoying, and then they give you an item to deal with it, and it feels so great. And I think, like, this game does it more than any other Metroidvania I've played. Let's head back up and out. Because I think we're done down there. I want to say we are. Yeah, we are. We have 4 Metroids left, but unless they're all along the outer walls of the cavern, I don't suspect they're... Actually, you know, I was about to wrap up the Metroids here, but then I forgot about this bridge up here that I failed to jump to. Rather, this platform. It doesn't really look like a bridge. It's suspended in mid-freaking air. You call that a bridge, me? Why are you calling that a bridge? You're stupid. I don't know if the wave beam does more damage. I know later beam upgrades definitely do increase the damage, but yeah. This one goes through objects, and that's definitely an improvement to me. Let's get that map tile on screen. And in here is, guess what? Alpha Metroid! You guessed it, based on the shell placed right outside of it. I accidentally turned on caps lock. I will take care of that once this Metroid is dead, which it will be in about 2 more missile shots. Yep, there we go. Somehow, I managed to fiddle with my keys so much that I turned caps lock on and then turned it back off, so when I went to turn it off, I actually ended up turning it back on. How did that happen? I don't know. I'm magical. climb up to this cavern, and yet again we have another one of these big scavenger bugs that I don't know what the heck they're supposed to do. It's just kind of weird. They're just chilling there. Feels like they're supposed to do something, but I don't know. 3 Metroids left. But first, I need to scour the ceiling, because I think there is actually something important up here. I'll be back with you in a bit. Anything? Yep. Missile tank right there. You do not have to go across the whole ceiling for it, so don't do that. There could be another one right up here, though. You never know. 1 second. Almost done. Believe that bit of geometry right there I just went past was actually slightly different in the very, very first version of AM2R, before the 1.0 version, and then in the 1.1 version, the developer rejiggered it a bit to make it better to climb on, because the first one had some issues when you were trying to climb on it with a spider ball. Random fun fact that I only know because I watched Exo Paradigm Gamer's review of this game, old review of this game. He's currently working on a new one, though it's taken him a while. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, that's taken him a while. Maybe he'll see this and get a spark of inspiration. Nah, that's too hopeful. Alright, well, we only have one place that I haven't been to, and that is back here. There are spikes on this wall. This is the thing that you can't spider ball past. If there are spikes on the wall, they'll just knock you off. So don't do that. Got a little cave system back here. And before we head to that tunnel down there, we have not only another white door right there, can't do anything with that. We also have, oh god, this. Nope. I'm great at this game, don't worry. Oh, I can just shoot him through the wall. I forgot. It's easy to forget when you start at the game and at your most basic abilities, and then as you get the abilities, it's sort of easy to forget about them. Sort of. Although, to be honest, I should be more used to my late game character. I don't know. And out here is, I think, where you're intended to start spider-balling up the wall. What happens if you do it from here? I think it just takes you up to the cave with the Metroid, right? Or no, it does take you up to the ceiling, I guess. Oh wait, no. It takes you to this weird little overhang bit. The cave with the Metroid is right above us on the map. And then this just connects to the rest of the cave ceiling. I'm gonna do it purely to fill out the map, but no other reason. And we will be heading back on track shortly. And that map square is not filled in. Whatever, who cares? Maybe I can get it filled in? Yeah, there we go. Wall jumped off that wall there. If you don't know how to wall jump, it's pretty weird. You have to jump against the wall, then press the opposite direction, and then jump in very quick succession. Kind of weird. You never really need to do it in this game thanks to the spider ball, but maybe it could be useful. That's a pretty interesting looking thing. It's got another little Chozo head on it. Anyway, let's go up here. Got another save point. You know what that means. It's another set of breeding grounds. Not every area has this. In fact, only the first 3 do, which I may have said before. I'm not really sure. Here's our first hallway. Let's just go. You know the routine by this point, except this time we're in a big room with a bunch of smaller platforms littered about. Yeah, the big room doesn't really help you, does it? In fact, it might make it easier because now I have more room to jump out of the way of your contact damage. You really did not think this through, Alpha Metroid. Okay, I know they're supposed to be just chilling in this natural place because they're animals, and they're not hanging out in level design. Technically, that's what they're doing, but in the game's universe, that's not what they're doing. 37 Metroids, that number keeps dwindling by the second. And right over here is I think a secret thing? Yes. Secret energy tank that will refill any health that you may have lost by going down here. I completely didn't acknowledge the fact that those blocks are fake, but yeah, they're fake. Into this room first. Whoa, this room is huge, so I can have an easier time dodging. The platforms are a little smaller, I guess, and there's this slope in the middle that does absolutely nothing to help this Alpha Metroid. That's surely at the end here. There he is. Missile binked off his mouth. He rejected it. He didn't want to eat it. So what's interesting is these Metroids have developed a resistance to cold temperatures, and what that means is you can't use the ice beam on them, which is a beam that we don't have. However, the only way to kill the larval Metroid is with the ice beam, yet we were sent to kill the Metroids, and we don't have the ice beam? We weren't sent down with the ice beam? I don't really know what's up with that, but either way, yeah, thank God that the later life stages of a Metroid don't require the ice beam, or else we'd be having a hell of a time right now. That is something Samus Returns kind of does something cool with. In the Metroid fights in that game, you can use the ice beam once you get it to weaken them a little bit. Whereas in this game, you kind of can't, because the ice beam is not acquired for a very long time. Alright, one Metroid left in the area. Where else would he be other than past this room with a couple of warp pipes, where in a Mario game you'd be able to go down, go bow, 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 and then go in a room with coins and then immediately come back out. I should play the first Super Mario Brothers. I think I did, and I was really bad at it, and so I was discouraged from playing it again, because I'm always really bad at old games. Old games are generally on the harder side because the arcadey mindset. Okay, this is kind of empty of platforms. I could see how this could be a little challenging, but again, Alpha Metroids are no trouble, and I have so many missiles and so much health now. I got... Do they really think it's going to be that challenging? Oh, this guy's got legs. Too bad he doesn't really use them for anything at all. Let me get up to the safety of this platform. I think he moves a little faster, actually. So I guess those legs are used to pump himself through the air a little faster, or to pump itself through the air a little faster. I don't think Metroids have a gender. Maybe they do. Oops, I unequipped my missiles for some reason. I guess I thought that would be the final hit. I don't know why. Oh god. Let me guess. Nope. Die. Thank you. Let me get out of this. I'm about to lose my first energy tank. And that's every Metroid in the area. Except... there's no earthquake. Weird. 0 Metroids. No earthquake? Well, what the hell? The scientists must have been really surprised to discover this life form because they skipped an entire Greek letter and went straight to Gamma Metroid. This stage of Metroid can now transfer negative charges from its nervous system into the horns, releasing electric arcs capable of disrupting weapon fire. The membrane containing its nucleus remains vulnerable, but the Gamma Metroid's exoskeleton, has been expanded for additional protection. Though its legs have reached their maximum length, they are unsuitable for locomotion. Instead, they can serve to capture prey and drain their energy. This is easily my least favorite type of Metroid to fight for one simple reason. Their weak spot is puny and really annoying to hit, and all of them can dodge by default. They also have this lightning attack, which doesn't do that much, really easy to avoid, and they can do a charge into a grab attack that drains your energy, like a Dark Souls enemy, obligatory Dark Souls reference out of the way. They also have a lot more health than Alphas, and they're just a little more annoying, and you'll also notice as we go on, their arenas that you fight them in tend to be more obnoxious. Plus, their hitbox is bigger, and all that really means is that they hit you much more because their contact damage is a lot bigger. They're still not that hard, but they're a little more on the annoying side. Now, that was every Metroid in the area. I do like that. They surprise you with that last one. Although that Metroid is counted towards the total counter, it is not counted towards the area, the local counter. Pretty cool. Did the original Metroid 2 do the same thing with that? Did they surprise you with a Gamma Metroid when you thought you were done? I mean, like, the default counter was the global Metroid counter, not the local area Metroid counter, but you could still see it when you paused, so I'm just wondering, did the original do the same thing? I don't know a lot about the original. I'm kind of interested to play it, to see just how different it is from this game. Metroid 2 is kind of unique in that way. There are 3 different versions that there's the original version, which was already a weird departure from what the original game set up, the first Metroid game set up, and then there are 2 remakes of it, one unofficial and one official. That both reimagine various things in totally different ways. It's really cool, and it's one of the more unique things in gaming. Even though the cost of it is Nintendo striking down AM2R, well, so what? AM2R is still playable. You can find it. Can't exactly tell you how, though, because I don't really want to take you to a virus accidentally, but I did manage to find a safe download of it. And so, if you can track one down, you can also download the updates for this game and have yourself a really fun experience. Now, that's the first 2 areas of the game cleared. And, of course, you know what's next. The earthquake has caused the magma to lower and move us on to the 3rd area. And I think that, once I get out of this area, sometimes I just lose interest in combat and start to take my way through things. As we make our way out of this onslaught of wildlife covering the hydro station, and those little cute scavenger guys eating the Metroid corpse, I guess, not the Metroid corpse, the Metroid shell. Going to head back to a save station that's really far. Okay, we're going to keep going until we hit the next save station, and then we're going to end the video. This seems like a very, very fun game, doesn't it? Well, yeah, I know. I would know, because I've played it twice. Like, I know that it's fun. There's magma, again, right away over there, so yeah, we're gonna have to head to a new area. Go down through these morph ball tunnels. There's a seeker back there. Interesting. We can always get that another time, because fun fact, we're going to be going through there. 10 Metroids detected in this next area. Yeah, perfect place to stop. I'd rather not continue on any longer, so let's use the save point and call it there. Next time on another Metroid 2 remake, we're heading into whatever this is to kill the 10 Metroids that are here. I want to get the pose back. There we go. Thank you all for watching this video. If you did watch, hope it was enjoyable. It was the first video I've recorded in a very long time, so I certainly hope you like it. As always, I will see you all in the future.